What happened to your high school sweetheart? She is married to what looks to be a pretty great guy. And she is working at her dream job. So presumably she is pretty happy. And I'm happy for her. She was living in a group home when we dated freshman year. She aged out at 18. And fell right off the radar. Turned out she went to live at a homeless encampment and didn't survive the winter. She died in her sleep in her 30s from a heart attack. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the kind words. She was a good girl and woman. Her birthday would have been in 5 days. She would have enjoyed reading the kind words. Y'all are good people. He passed away when he was around 40. He had a very aggressive stomach cancer. She's in the other room watching Jurassic Park with our daughter. Mine contacted me when he heard I was getting married. Turns out he was married at the time with 3 kids, but he would leave his wife for me now that I was ready to be married. So marriage is just a process of interchangeable parts? He reached out again some 30 years later. I connected to see if he had grown up. Nope. Still a dick. On his 3rd wife, but willing to have sex with me if I was open to it. No thanks. She recently got engaged to some loser that she's too good for. We're also buying a house together. She's currently asleep on my chest. He cheated on me with my cousin on Christmas Eve in our house. Broke up with him. Few months later he started to date my stepmom. Last I heard he works at a cook at a bar and is a deadbeat dad that hasn't seen his kid in 7 years. Became a well-respected academic and author. But struggled with depression particularly late in life and sadly succumbed to it last year. She's at work now bringing babies into the world. We've been married 25 years and are happy with how our lives turned out. I married her. We celebrated our 42nd anniversary the 13th of September. We're getting married after COVID is over. He died at age 24 of a heroin overdose. We weren't together. But we were still best friends, though we fought constantly about his drug use. He overdosed the night before he went away to rehab. Edit. Once I posted this, I realized, again, how utterly depressing this is. I do want to add that one good thing came from this, and I am now close with his entire family. I wish he never died, and sometimes I'm still so angry at him. I've never met a person like him before, and I highly suspect I never will again. I am, however, very thankful to have a second set of parents and a whole slew of siblings who helped me grieve and remember him for the way he truly was. She dropped off my radar for 15 years. Then we happened to cross paths when I decided to attend a community gathering and walk for Pokemon Go of all things. We exchanged hellos and caught up for a few minutes. But she didn't have time to talk. Turns out she was beyond busy. Because she was the one who organized the event. I don't think I'm a proud point in her life. And she didn't seem that excited to see me. So I just let her do her thing and stay out of her way. Our time together is supposed to be in the past. And that's where I'll keep it. I had a good time at the event, though. So I'm glad she put it together. He married some chick that didn't go to our school. Then he cheated on her with my former best friend. Gave them both herpes. I dodged so many bullets there. Y'all can just call me Neo. We got married. Then divorced. He's doing the bulk of the work of raising our son. Since I have cancer and the chemo wrecked my immune system. Son lives with him. And sees me for a few hours on socially distanced outings when I have enough white blood cells. I appreciate his help so much. He's married with twins. I am very happy for him. He pulled out in front of a semi-truck on an early foggy Saturday morning when he was 19. He never saw it coming and died instantly. I loved my high school boyfriend so much. He took advantage of it. After 4 long years of an insane emotional roller coaster, I got the nerve to finally end it. I moved and changed my number so he couldn't find me. I never had the strength to not take him back. 16 years later, He found me on FB and I agreed to meet up with him for dinner. He was just released from a 4-year prison sentence. For the second time. For drug-related issues. I had just finished my master's degree. I wanted to travel back in time and give my younger scared self a hug for having the courage and strength to leave. He broke up with me amicably after 8 months when we were 16. We went to different universities. 5 years and 2 degrees each later. I traveled through his city for a job interview. I went for a drink or 3 with him after the interview. It was as if we'd seen each other yesterday. He walked me to the train. Just in time, but I hopped off to kiss him before hopping back on as the train departed. 5 years later we're in the process of buying our first house and are engaged. Still attached to my arm. Unfortunately he never could come out of the closet for his parents were, and are, incredibly anti-gay and family ties seem to hold sway over him to this day. He's married with 2 children and seems incredibly unhealthy in my opinion. I happily married my later in life best friend and it's f***ing awesome. At our apartment. Without planning it. We ended up in the same college. He studies med and I biology. So we help each other sometimes. I married him. He got engaged over the summer and he's at college studying physics. He's getting married in a year and a half and hopefully I'm invited since I'm his fiancé registered signee. She committed suicide. For a long time I blamed myself. But I now realize she had troubles way beyond what 17-year-old me could help handle. We split up in 1996. Got back together in 2013. Biological clocks ticking. We had a child and got married. Soon we are moving to a house on an island. Near some nice beaches and trails. Our child is almost 4 and awesome. She married the dude she dated after me and is still happily married with 2 kids. I don't see her much because I live in a different state now. But we catch up on social media now and then. She turned out much better than a lot of the dumpster fires I dated after her. She broke up with me, which I don't blame her for. I was on the wrong track. Selling weed and had no goals. That set off a dark period for me, but eventually I moved out of town. Started my own business. And haven't looked back. We reconnected a few weeks before the high school reunion, actually 2 years ago. She's doing quite well. And has a great husband. We caught up and wished each other the best. Shoot a message every now and then. I wish I knew how to be just a normal friend with women when I was a teenager, lol. She's lesbian now. He got into cocaine and dropped out of engineering school. Last I heard he was driving a truck somewhere. Last I heard he was driving a truck somewhere. Hope he pulls over soon. She broke up with me after we graduated and is now engaged to the super wealthy dude she broke up with me for and living in Italy. Needless to say, he has grown up into a super cool, kind, mature dude and is happily pursuing his dreams in the performing arts and dating lots of women that are more right for him than I was. I'm really happy for him. We've been friends since our amicable breakup. She's getting married soon to the guy she dated immediately after me. Similar to the girlfriend after her. I haven't dated all that much actually. But so far 2/3 actual relationships have found their spouses after me. Number 3 still has the chance. Not sure how I feel about this. But hey. Tired of being single? Break up with me. 66% chance you'll find them after. We got married at 18. He turned out to be an abusive, cheating F-word. And left me for a woman he'd been sleeping with at 21. He married her a month after our divorce. They'd only been together for a couple months. After 2 years, he came home from deployment. He cheated and left her for someone else. Now he's dating her and working a shitty job with his dad at a mechanic's shop and is probably spending all his money getting drunk and buying girls nudes from OnlyFans. Is it wrong that as soon as I read married at 18 I guessed military? We broke up after we went to different unis. We both dated super abusive people after that, but fortunately got out of those relationships. Though now he's dating a girl who talks about flirting with other guys in front of him and never wants to see him. All I can do is tell him that's not normal. I kind of miss him and wonder what life would have been like if we stayed together. He's very sweet and it's so sad to see those girls hurt him so much. She was one of the most gorgeous women I ever had, and she was my every first one. First love. First kiss. First sexual partner. Our breakup kept me somehow shattered. 10 years after she had become a psychiatrist, and she was kind enough to meet me over a coffee to answer some of my questions and heal some of my wounds. It helped me to rebuild myself and meet the woman who would become my wife and the love of my life. She got married and has a couple of boys. We randomly met 3 times in the past decade. Nothing more than a hand wave or a nod. I sometimes surprise myself thinking about her and wonder if I am still somewhere in her mind. Quick advice to any teenager reading this. Teenage love will shape the way you apprehend your future's relationships, so if you ever have to break up, please. Even if you don't want to be the mean one. We are both high scrolling Reddit right now. Married. 3 years ago on Halloween actually. Married him. Almost 8 years together and 3 years married. He's around. Still denies that we lost our virginity to each other. I didn't come so it doesn't count. Graduated HS in 2002. We lost touch but reconnected. Just text, not in person. A couple years ago. He got his master's in ecology. Moved to Alaska for a bit. Now lives in the Northeast. He was the kindest guy. I wish nothing but the best for him always. Edit. Changed 2004 to 2002. Stayed with her 6 years. She died of breast cancer last year at 37, married with 3 kids to a different man. It was one of my biggest regrets in life not marrying her. And part of me is glad that I wasn't with her when she died. Left alone. With 3 children. I still never had children to this day. I married him. She's dating a really cool dude. I have a ton in common with him actually. Broke up with me shortly after high school, ended to be with the person she made out with at a party. A few years later we met up and started dating again. Come to find out the person she left me for was a drug addict and stole from her and her family. Ended up breaking up with her after a couple of years relationship. Couple of years after that she texted me to let me know she was engaged. The conversation turned sour when I shared my opinion about diamonds. But I wished her well and gave her my blessing and haven't heard from her since. Hopefully she's happy and doing well. The conversation turned sour when I shared my opinion about diamonds. IAIAIA. She was non-existent and always will be. My what now? Best friend in high school. I had a massive crush on her. She was Pentecostal. But never seemed too uptight. We never dated. And I was happy just hanging out with her. Caught up with her on Facebook. Like. 20 years later. She's full on Islamophobic. Homophobic. Trump supporting. Racist. Uptight Karen now. Really sad to see. Because she was such a sweet and caring girl in high school. Few things can turn a beautiful person into a hateful bitch faster than religion. She disappeared when I took my schizophrenia medication.